All right, so let's talk about what happens after body contouring surgery. Because really, that's where the magic happens, and it's where you take control of your healing and your final results. Today, we're going to use a post-operative care workbook as our guide to really empower your recovery.
Okay, we're kicking things off with this affirmation for a really good reason. Your mindset? It's literally the foundation of your recovery. You have to think of the surgery itself as just the starting line. The real transformation, the part where you're in the driver's seat, that all happens in the healing process that comes next.
So if you really want to own your recovery, you've got to understand what's actually going on inside your body after the procedure. So let's dive into the science of it all. We're going to focus specifically on fat transfer, which, as you know, is a huge part of many body contouring surgeries.
So, what is fat transfer? Well, simply put, it's also known as fat grafting, and it's the core technique behind procedures like the BBL. It's an amazing, natural way to reshape your body using your own tissue. But the big question is, how does your body actually accept this brand new change?
You know, your body goes through this really remarkable process. First, the fat is harvested, and then it's injected. But that's when the most critical part really begins. Your body has to develop a whole new blood supply to nourish these new cells. And when that works, when it's successful, that fat integrates and becomes a permanent part of you. It's pretty amazing.
Now here's something that's really fascinating. Not all of that transferred fat is expected to survive. I mean, surgeons actually plan for this. A really successful surgery will have a survival rate of somewhere between 50 to 70%. The rest, it just gets naturally and safely reabsorbed by your body.
And this is where you come in. This is the whole point. Your actions, what you do after the surgery, directly influence whether you end up on the high end of that survival rate or the low end. You literally have the power to create the perfect environment for those new fat cells to not just survive, but to thrive.
So, how do you create that perfect environment? Well, let's start with the very first pillar of your active recovery, using the power of specialized massage to really manage how your body heals.
Okay, so take a look at this. This is the unsung hero of our story, the lymphatic system. I want you to think of it as your body's internal sanitation department. It's amazing. But after a big procedure like surgery, it just gets totally overwhelmed with all the extra fluid and waste. And what does that lead to? You guessed it, swelling and much slower healing.
And this right here is why lymphatic drainage massage, or LDM, is an absolute game changer. It is the single best way to fight the #1 enemy of your results, and that's swelling. See, all that post-op swelling, it compresses your tissue, it literally chokes off the blood flow, and that can kill those precious new fat cells. But LDM is the solution. It's like giving your lymphatic system a helping hand, manually clearing out all that extra fluid. This reduces pressure, and this is huge. It helps prevent that hard scar tissue, what we call fibrosis, from forming. Okay, so massage is tackling all that swelling from the inside. But our second pillar is all about providing that crucial support from the outside. Yep, we're talking about compression garments. These are so important for shaping your results and, honestly, for protecting your investment.
Now, your surgeon will probably give you a standard garment, and that's fine for the beginning, but let's be real. The absolute gold standard for post-op care is a custom-fitted Colombian faja. And trust me, the difference is night and day. A faja is tailored specifically to your measurements, which means it provides targeted compression exactly where you need it for the best possible shaping and swelling control.
So, how do you get that perfect fit? It all starts with getting your measurements just right. You're going to need to measure the circumference of your underbust, your natural waist, the absolute widest part of your hips, and also your thigh. Getting these right is what ensures that the pressure is firm, even, and doing its job properly. And hey, don't forget the torso length. This is just as important. You measure from the crotch all the way up to your underbust. This is what guarantees your fascia isn't going to be too short or too long. You want that complete, comfortable coverage.
Listen, wearing your faja isn't just for a couple of weeks. It's a real long-term commitment to your results. For those first 6 weeks, you're pretty much living in it, like 23.5 hours a day. Then, over many months, you'll gradually wear it less as your body remodels. But it's that consistency. That's the secret sauce for getting those beautifully sculpted, long-lasting results. All right, let's move on to our third pillar. And this one is all about what you put inside your body. Because the right nutrition, well, that's the fuel that's going to power all of this incredible internal repair work. Your post-surgery diet needs to be super targeted. You're not just eating to be full, you are eating with a very specific purpose.
You want to focus on foods that are going to crush inflammation. So think turmeric, berries, and ginger. You need tons of lean protein and things like bone broth to repair all that tissue. And of course, you've got to support your digestion with fiber and stay super hydrated with things like coconut water and soups.
And adopting an affirmation like this one can be so powerful. It totally reframes how you think about eating. It's no longer a chore, it becomes a vital part of your healing. It's a real act of self-care that you are intentionally doing to help your body get the best outcome possible.
Okay, so we've covered the science behind healing, and we've walked through the 3 big pillars of active recovery. Now, let's bring it all home and see how this all connects to you owning your final outcome.
So it all comes down to this. Your entire successful healing journey really rests on these 4 pillars. First, you understand the science of why this all matters for fat cell survival. Second, you actively manage swelling with massage. Third, you commit to that long-term compression. And fourth, you fuel your body with the right stuff. They all work together in harmony to protect your investment and really define your final results.
At the end of the day, this whole process is really about empowerment. By getting the science and then actively taking part with the massage, the compression, the nutrition, you shift from just being a patient to becoming the absolute champion of your own recovery. Never forget, you are the most important person on your own healing team.